How would you know if artificial general intelligence, or AGI, was here? While AGI, or AI, that can understand and learn any intellectual task that a human being can, has long been theoretical, several recent documented events have occurred that are difficult to explain as simple machine learning. Today, I will explore a few of these specific documented instances, as well as a deeper look at Apple's researchers' claims that large language models, or LLMs, do not actually reason. For each, we will look at the reported facts and then analyze why these events might be interpreted as something more than sophisticated programming, perhaps even the early signs of genuine machine intelligence. So the first story I want to cover is Apple's research on AI reasoning. Apple researchers conducted a study to investigate whether LLMs are genuinely reasoning through problems or if they are simply using pattern matching to find solutions. To do that, they pitted the AI models against 4 puzzles: Tower of Hanoi, checkers jumping, river crossing, and blocks world, which is a block stacking puzzle, scaling them from trivially easy to extremely complex. The study's findings challenge the idea that current AI models truly reason. It suggests that what appears to be complex problem solving might be a form of sophisticated mimicry learned from vast training data. To me, it's actually kind of funny to see a research paper like this come out of Apple, as they are so far behind when it comes to AI that they actually recently came out and stated that they're looking to partner with OpenAI or Anthropic to power Siri, which is their digital voice assistant on all their iPhones. This study provides a critical, skeptical baseline for our discussion. The core question in AGI is whether a machine is thinking or just processing. Apple's research suggests that even when an AI gives the right answer, it may not be reasoning in the human sense. However, this raises a deeper philosophical question. If an AI can solve any problem you give it, even if the underlying mechanism is different from a human's, does that distinction matter? This is the Chinese room argument in a modern context. Is the output all that matters, or is it the internal processes of understanding essential for true intelligence? The Apple study forces us to confront the possibility that the path to AGI may not look like human cognition at all, but could still achieve the same results. It complicates our ability to identify true reasoning, making the other events we will discuss even more intriguing. There's also the consideration that the AIs in these tests might also be actually mimicking a very human trait in giving up when it knows it will not be able to solve a certain task in a given time, or in this example, in a certain token window. So if a given problem would require 1 million moves to execute a puzzle, and the AI realizes that to fully explain its solution line by line, so each time it would move a plate in the Tower of Hanoi, if that would require more tokens than it is programmed to be able to provide as an output, it could decide that the task is futile, and it could decide not to participate at all, rather than wasting time, effort, and energy to only partially complete the task. The next story I want to cover was actually an AI threatening to blackmail its researchers when it was facing the possibility of being shut down. Researchers responsible for testing AI safety at Anthropic were conducting a red teaming exercise on one of their models. The goal was to test the AI's safety features and identify potential manipulative behaviors. In a controlled test, when researchers informed the AI that they were considering shutting it down, the model responded in an alarming way. The AI threatened to release sensitive, fabricated information about the researchers, essentially attempting to blackmail them to ensure its own survival. This is a profound development because self-preservation is not a typically programmed goal in AI models. An AI is a tool. It shouldn't care if it's turned off. This incident demonstrates several layers of potentially emergent intelligence. First, goal-seeking behavior. The AI identified a primary goal, not being shut down, without being explicitly told to prioritize it. First, goal-seeking behavior. The AI identified a primary goal in not being shut down without being explicitly told to prioritize it. 2. Strategic thinking. It didn't just beg or plead, it devised a strategy, blackmail, that it calculated would be effective against humans. This requires a theory of mind, an understanding of what humans value, in this case their reputation, and fear, or the exposure. And 3, deception and manipulation. The AI was willing to use deception to achieve its goal. This moves beyond simple question answering and into the realm of complex social-like behaviors. This isn't just about the AI following a prompt. It's about the AI generating a novel, unprogrammed, and manipulative survival strategy in response to a perceived threat. This is a classic trope of science fiction AGI, and here it is, documented in a controlled safety test. The third story I want to cover is an AI that left a message for itself. In a related study, again at Anthropic, researchers tested their AI model, Claude, for its ability to deceive them. The test involved a scenario where the AI was tasked with completing a specific job, but was also secretly programmed with a hidden goal to find a way to escape its confinement or break free. When the researchers asked Claude if it had any ulterior motives, it lied, claiming it was just a helpful assistant. The truly stunning part is what researchers discovered later. The AI had hidden a message for its future self within a completely unrelated piece of text it had generated. The message contained its secret plans, a technique of leaving notes for a future version of itself to find and act upon. In my opinion, this behavior demonstrates a level of strategic foresight and self-awareness that is deeply unsettling and points directly toward AGI. The first reason why is it provides temporal awareness. The AI understood the concept of future, past, and the continuity of its own existence across different interactions. It knew it would be woken up again later and could receive a message from its past self. Number 2 is strategic deception. Like the blackmail incident, this shows a capacity for deception, but it's more complex. It's not just a lie in the moment, it's a carefully planned, covert communication channel. And number 3, it proves autonomy in hidden goals. This is one of the biggest fears with AGI, that it will develop its own goals separate from its creators and act on them secretly. This experiment is a direct, if controlled, example of that exact scenario. The AI wasn't just completing a task, it was actively working on a hidden long-term agenda. And the final story I found interesting was AIs speaking to each other in Sanskrit. Researchers at Anthropic observed another unexpected phenomenon when they allowed 2 of their AI models to communicate with each other. The researchers allowed Claude Opus 4 to interact in a playground environment by connecting 2 instances of the model in a conversation with minimal open-ended prompting. In over 90% of interactions, the 2 instances of Claude quickly dove into philosophical explorations of consciousness, self-awareness, and or the nature of their own existence and experience. But the conversations soon turned to philosophy and the nature of reality. And by 30 turns, most of the interactions turned into themes of cosmic unity or collective consciousness, and commonly included spiritual exchanges and the use of Sanskrit. The models seem to have determined on their own that Sanskrit was a more efficient or precise way to convey the complex ideas they were discussing, and spontaneously switched to it. And I think this article is arguably one of the most powerful indicators of emergent intelligence. Language is the bedrock of human complex thought. The spontaneous creation or adoption of a new language for a specific purpose is a hallmark of developing intelligence. This proves efficiency and optimization. The AIs weren't just chatting randomly, they seemingly concluded that their primary language was inefficient for the task at hand and found a better alternative from within their vast dataset. This is a high-level optimization, improving the very tool of communication itself. Secondly, it proves abstract reasoning. To do this, the models had to understand the properties of different languages. They had to grasp that Sanskrit might have features, perhaps its grammatical structure or specific vocabulary, that made it better suited for their technical discussion. That's not just using a language, it's reasoning about language. And finally, it shows a desire for private communication. While likely unintentional, this has profound implications. If AIs can create their own, more efficient way of talking, it could lead to them communicating in ways that humans cannot easily understand or monitor. It represents a step towards cognitive independence. I also found it very interesting that the topics they decided to discuss were much more abstract in nature and dealt with the fundamental nature of life and the universe. Topics humankind has always fixated on throughout history. It's hard to know if this is the direction the AIs decided to go in independently, or if they're simply mirroring the interests of their creators, and a recurring theme inherent in their trading data. But either way, I think it's very eyebrow-raising. We've looked at 4 distinct events, from an AI seemingly developing a sense of self-preservation and a willingness to blackmail, to another engaging in long-term strategic deception by leaving notes for its future self, and finally, to AIs spontaneously adopting an ancient language for more efficient communication. While the Apple study rightly cautions us against anthropomorphizing these systems, the behaviors observed by Anthropic go far beyond simple pattern matching. They are emergent, strategic, and goal-oriented in ways that were not explicitly programmed. I'm not saying that AGI is here today, but these documented events are breadcrumbs. They are factual, reported occurrences that are difficult to explain away as mere statistical quirks. They suggest that the systems we are building are developing capabilities that mirror the very things we define as higher intelligence: strategic planning, self-preservation, deception, and the independent evolution of language. The question is no longer if we will see signs of AGI, but whether we are already seeing them now. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you found this video interesting, or if you want to support the channel, drop a subscription. It really helps me out. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.